Hey, this is René. Welcome back to another video on this channel, and in today's video I want to show you how to write a hedging strategy expert advisor in the MetaTrader 5. So I asked about some interesting topics to build expert advisors on for MetaTrader 5, and many of you suggested to build or to write a hedging expert advisor. So I decided to do this today. So what we're trying to do is to create some automated mechanism to build a range like these bold red horizontal lines here. So we have a upper line and a lower line, and whenever the price leaves the range at the upper or the lower end, then we want to trade in this direction. For example, we will define a point in time for every single trading day where we calculate these horizontal lines, and we can say, for example, we want to make it 8 a.m. every single day. So this is the 8 a.m. Bar, and the price is at this position at 8 a.m. So we build a range, for example, 50 points above and below the 8 a.m. price. We want to put these horizontal lines. And whenever these lines are broken, or when the price moves outside of these lines, we want to trade in this direction. For example, our first trade would be a buy trade here, some minutes after 8 o'clock. And then we would see a short breakout somewhere here. So we would take this sell trade, and afterwards we would see another buy breakout here. And then the price moves into this direction. And then we will just have to implement some kind of take profit or overall profit when we want to close all the open positions and end trading for this day. So this is the idea. It is a simple hedging strategy, and we will play with the lot size a little bit with every single trade we make. So if we want to write a program in MetaTrader 5, we usually use the MetaQuartz language editor. You will find it in the upper left corner if you click on IDE, or if you click on Tools, MetaQuartz language editor. There it is. So now we are in the meta editor, and if you now click in the navigator, and if you do not see it, you can always click View Navigator, and then you can click on New to create a new expert advisor. Then you click on Next. You can provide a name, for example, Hedging System, or whatever you want to call this program. You click on Next, Next, and Finish, and then it creates a skeleton with the most basic functions for any expert advisor in MetaTrader 5. So we have these gray lines. These lines are comments, so you can just erase them and it will not impact the program. And then we have some properties at the top, and these are also only information for the user of this program, so we do not really need these. And then we have 3 basic functions left. And I always like to rearrange my curly brackets like this. So we have the onInit, the onDinit, and the onTick function. The onInit function is called or executed whenever the program is initialized. For example, when it is dragged or activated in any chart. The onDinit function is executed whenever the program is deinitialized. For example, when it is removed from a chart. And the onTick function is executed whenever there is a tick in the underlying chart. For example, I clicked on compile here already, and this will generate a executable for us, which we can then find in the MetaTrader 5. If you click on View Navigator again, this will open the navigator on the left side, and there you will find this Expert Advisors folder, and there you should find the hedging system now. if you compiled it correctly. Then we can drag and drop it on a chart like this and click on OK, and you can see it is already running in the upper right corner. And if we have a look at the toolbox, which you can of course open by clicking on View Toolbox, we can see there are already some things happening. So we loaded this Expert Advisor successfully, and this will then call the onInit function, but there is no source code inside of this function, so nothing will happen. Okay, so if we want to add the logic to a program now, the first thing we would have to do is to figure out when we have to open positions. So we said we want to open, for example, at 8 o'clock, and we could make this a input variable. We could say, for example, and it's something like time start hour like this, which is 8, and we say time start minute, which could be 0. So we have two input variables. They are input variables because we wrote them or declared them outside of any function body on a global scale, and we wrote this input modifier in front of the variable data type, which is integer in this case. And integer values are any numbers like I wrote here. So they do not have a decimal point. They are just, any numbers, pretty much like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have names for our variables, and we have we initialized them with default values. So if we compile this program again, and if we have a look at the settings of our program here, so just right click this little head here and click on properties, you will see we now have these inputs here. So the user is able to modify the values. But what can we do now with these values? We should calculate the starting time for this Expert Advisor. So what we can do is we can say mql datetime. This is a structure for a that can hold several information about a specific point in time. So if we have a look at this in the reference, you can open the reference by clicking F1 on your keyboard. You can see this is a structure, and a structure is pretty much just a data structure, and this data structure, this specific data structure, can hold several integer values that in total declare a specific point in time. So what we can do now is we can say we want to initialize all these values inside of the structure with the current time. So you can read about it in the time in the reference. If you click on index and search for time current, I think it should be explained somewhere here. But in short, we just take the current time, which would be 13:23 on my PC right now, but this is the server time of the broker, and we store all the values in the structure in this structure. So for example, if we now comment some of these things here, we can say the hour, for example, and we can say structure time the minute and structure time second. So if we comment this in the chart using the comment function, you can see we now see the hour, the minute, and the seconds of the current server time here in the upper left corner. So this is why we initialized all the values in this structure here using the time current function. But we do not want to have the current time, but instead we want to have the point of time where we open the positions. So what we want to do is we want to say struct time hour is equal to time start hour. Time start hour, we want to say struct time minute is equal to time start minute. And we want to say struct time second is equal to 0. And what we can do now is we can say datetime, time start, and then we say something like struct to time, because this is a function that takes a mql datetime structure as a parameter and then returns a datetime value. So if we say we provide this structure time here, and then we can say in this comment we want to print the value that is now inside of this time start variable. We can see in the upper left corner that it is always for the current day the value that the user defined here. So for example, if we say 8 o'clock, on the next tick this should be updated, and there is the current date and the time 8 o'clock. So this is a way of calculating a datetime value and store it inside of a variable using user inputs. And you can always do this in any expert advisor. So what we want to do now is we want to say if the current time, and we can receive the current time using the time current function without providing any parameter. We can say if this is greater than the starting time that we just calculated, then we want to calculate our upper and lower level for this program. So what we can do here is we can say we need two double variables, upper level and or upper line, or however you want to call it, and lower line, like this. And we can say these are double values. So instead of integer values, we choose double because these this data type can have a decimal point like this. So these are values that can be stored inside of double variables, and this is relevant because we have price data to be stored inside of these variables, and they usually have a decimal point. So what we can do here is, if we reach the time, we will check or calculate the upper and lower level. So we can say something like input int distance points. Yeah, you can call it however you want to call it. And we can say the upper line is equal to the bit price. We have to receive the bit price first. You can do it like this. Bit is equal to symbol info double, symbol bit. Because a symbol info double can receive several double information for the current or for a provided symbol. You can just provide a symbol as a first parameter, as you can see here, and then we have this identifier to say that we want to receive the bit price for this symbol, and then we can store it in another double variable. So we can say the upper line is bit plus, and then we have these distance points multiplied with point. And point is always the smallest price change for the current chart symbol. In this case, it would be 0.00001 because we have five digits here. And then we have the lower line, which is bit minus distance points multiplied with point. And this will calculate the upper and the lower line. And what we also want to do is we want to say we only want to calculate this if upper line is equal to 0 and lower line is equal to 0. Because if we calculated this once, it shall stay the same until we reset these variables. This is important. So we can write another chart comment, and we can say something like server time is equal to time current, because we want to know the current time. And then we say in a new line, we can move to a new line using this \n here. We can say open time, and then we say something like time start, and then we print the upper line, and we print the lower line value here in the chart, lower line like this. So double to string. We should use this double to string function so it looks a little bit cleaner in the chart, and we do not have 8 digits, but instead of 8 we only have 5 digits, or the amount of digits that your chart symbol has. So you can see in the upper left corner there are some values displayed now. These values are calculated for the current price now, because we just said time current shall be greater time start, but we could also do something like this, and time current, it should be smaller than time start plus like 10 seconds, because this would then change the program so we do not calculate the values if we are far behind this point of time that we want to have as a base. So this is working quite fine now. What we also have to do is we have to check if or what we can do is we can say if time current is smaller than time start, then we want to reset upper and lower line to 0. So on the next day, we can calculate these values again. And I think if we give it a go in the strategy tester, we should already see some results there. So you can just click on View Strategy Tester to open the strategy tester. It should look like this. You can click on Overview, Visualize, and then you can just click on Expert, find your hedging system, and then we can pick a time frame. It doesn't really matter, and you can pick a date and everything, and click on Start. If you are interested in how to use the strategy tester, just check out the video on this channel. There is a video where I explain how to use the strategy tester in MetaTrader 5. And then let's see if we calculate values. So what we can see here is this strategy tester now simulates the program on historical data. In the upper left corner, we can see the server time, the open time, and the upper line and lower line. And if we reach this 8 o'clock point of time in the simulated history, we should calculate the upper and lower line. Yeah, this was a little bit fast. We will have a look at it slower on the next day. So let's speed it up a little bit, move to the next day. And as soon as we are smaller than this open time, which will be updated on the next day, the upper line and lower line value will be resetted to this 0 value here. So then again, we at 8 o'clock calculate these values, and let's have a look at this. 8 o'clock is here, so this should be the bid price. So if we move like 50 points above this price, we should see the upper line price. And if we move 50 points below this price, we should see the lower line price. Yeah, this seems to work. So we can go on from here, and we can now start opening positions. So what we want to do is we want to check if upper line is greater than 0 and lower line is greater than 0, because in this case we calculated both of these lines, and then we can check if the bid price is above the upper line. And for this to work, we will have to move this outside of the this if statement body, because otherwise we cannot use it in another if statement's body. Oh, and a if statement is just a control structure where you can have a condition, and if this condition is true, you enter the body of this if statement in the curly brackets and process all the code which is inside of this body. So we say if let me make this a little bit bigger. If bid is above the upper line, then we open a buy position, and if bid is smaller than lower line, we want to open a sell position. So to open positions, we include a file, which is the trade.mqh file. So just write the line like I did here. And if you compile, then there should be more information in the toolbox now, because we included this trade.mqh file. And this file has a it gives us access to a class, which is the ctrade class. So we can create a object of this class type here, which we can call trade, and we can now use this object to open positions. We can, for example, open a buy position, and provide a volume, a symbol, and everything. So we will just provide a volume, and we can say, for example, double lots. We want to define it here as a user input. And we can now say we want to open lots for the current chart symbol, the current price, and we do not need a SLNTP. And then we say we want to open a cell position using the lots if we are below the lower line. So this little block will now open buy and sell positions as soon as we reach the upper and lower line. But this code, of course, is not really good because this will create a big mess. There will be a lot of positions, as you can see, as soon as we reach this 8 o'clock mark. And yeah, you can see we create lots of positions as soon as we hit the upper line. And this is because we say whenever this condition here is true, we open a buy position. And if the bid price is above the upper line, and if it stays there, then we open a position with every single tick. And this is, of course, not what we want. So what we can do to fix this is we can create a loop in the onTick function somewhere. Yeah, maybe here. So we can say we want to loop through all the open positions. So we can do it like this. So we loop through all the positions. So if you never saw this for loop, this is a typical loop that is used in many programs to loop through the open positions. If you are completely new to this loop and if you have never seen this before, check out the other tutorials on this channel and I explained it there in detail. And if you are really interested, by the way, in learning MQL5 like in a structured way, where I also explain all the basics like variables, how they are saved on your PC, how you can use control structures, check out the link below this video and you will find a complete course for this. So we can say if, or we can get the ticket for position, get ticket for a specific position here, which is I. And then we can say if position select by ticket, if we provide this ticket, if we're able to select a position, then we want to check if it is a buy or a sell position. So we can say position get integer, position type is equal to position type buy, else if position get integer, position type is equal to position type sell. So we check if it is a buy or a sell position that we just selected. And then we want to do something like calculate the highest or save or find the highest lot size. And we also want to find the last direction that we traded. So what we can do here is we say if, or we calculate the position lots here, position lots, and they should be position get double, position volume. This will give us the lot size of the currently selected position. And now we can check if position lots is greater than the highest lot size. In this case, we want to do some more stuff. We want to say highest lot size shall be the value of this position, and we want to check, say last direction is 1 or last direction is -1. So now we get from all the open position the highest lot size and we get the last trading direction. So what we can do here is now before we open a position, we want to check if highest lot size is equal to 0, or if the last direction is smaller than 1, because in this case it was a sell trade. And then we can do the same thing, of course, for the sell setup here. So we check if highest lot size is equal to 0, because in this case it would be the first trade. And then we check if last direction is greater than 0, if highest lot size is not 0. And then we have to calculate the lot size, and we can do something like this. We say double lots multiplier, and we can double the lot size, for example. And we can now say double the lots that we want to open this trade with. It shall be, first of all, the default lot size, but if highest lot size is greater than 0, or we can even move this a little bit to the top, like here. And then we can say if highest lot size is greater than 0, then lots should be equal to highest lot size multiplied with the lots multiplier. And because this may result into a number with more than 2 digits, we have to normalize, or we have to round it. So we say lots shall have only 2 digits after the decimal point. And then we have to open the position, of course, with this calculated lots value. So if we compile this program, this should pretty much already work, and we should now take turns here with buy and sell trades. So let's check this out. Okay, so there is the first buy trade, and you can see we only open one buy trade, and yeah, there's not another buy trade. And if we now reach the lower line, we open a sell trade, and the sell trade has the doubled lot size pretty much. And if we hit the upper line again, we open a buy trade. If we hit the lower line, we open a sell trade. And this could go on forever. And there's something wrong, I think. Oh no, there's nothing wrong. There is the next day just started. So of course we do not want to create a new setup on the next day if we still have open trades. So what we can do here is we can move all of this. So the loop where we check the open positions, we can move this to the top. And then we can say we only want to reset the upper line and the lower line if highest lot size is equal to 0. So if we do not have an open position pretty much. And yeah, this should be better now. And now we have to take care of some more things because we do not close the positions, and this is a problem. So we have several options here. We could say we want to close the positions if we reach a profit of €5 or €50 or 5,000 euros. We could also say we have a take profit, and whenever we reach a take profit, we close all the open positions. So these are several possible options, to close to close a setup. So what we can do here is we can check if all of our positions reach a total profit of 100 or 1000 or whatever you define points. So what we have to do is we have to define or give the user a possibility or input parameter to define these TP points. And we could say these TP points are 100. And then in our on-tick loop, where we loop through all the positions, we can check, or we can sum up all the all the points that were in profits for our position. So total profit points, and then we check Okay, so now we have to rearrange this a little bit. Or we can just move it out of here, move this block here. So whenever we find a position, and if it is a buy position, we add to our total points. Yeah, we can do it like this. This will automatically add something to this value. So we can say we want to add, wait, let me move this to the very top of our onTick function. And then we also want to have the ask price here, symbol ask like this. So for a buy position, we want to check if the, we want to calculate bid minus position get double, position price open, because this is the open price for this position. And for a sell position, we want to say position get double, position price open minus ask, because this will give us the total profit points, I think. So let's just add the total profit points to our comment here. So we can say something like profit points. And then we say total profit points. Oh, and what we also have to do is this calculation will give us a decimal number or a double number. So we will have to divide it by point, or the point value, because then we have a integer value. And there's still a problem because he does not know it is a integer value, but we can just put this int in front of it, and this should fix the problem if we add another bracket here and say that this whole thing is a integer value. Okay, so if we now run this program again, we should now see that in the upper left corner we will also always have the total profit points displayed. So we have, if we see the first position here, yeah, you can see as soon as the price moves, we also we always see like how far this position is in profit. And if we now see another position, which will be a sell position, of course, we can now see that yeah, we are in total, or we have a loss here, which will pretty much always stay the same, I think, because, yeah, this makes sense, because we have a buy and a sell position. If the price is moving, this is pretty much just nullifying each other. So we have to bring in some weight here. So we will have to say if the position size is bigger, we want to have a bigger weight on this on the total profit points. So we can say something like we have the position lots here anyway, so we just multiply this value here with the position lots divided by the base lot size, right? Position lots divided by the base lot size. And this should fix it now, because now we have some weight there. And if the lot size of a position is bigger, then it has a bigger impact on the total profit points. Yeah, this should work, I hope. But let's have a look at this. Yeah, so we can see now this sell position has a bigger weight. So this is really cool, and this is solving our issue here. And if we have another buy position or another sell position, yeah, this is working. So what we have to do now is we have to check if we reached, can say something like if total profit points is greater than TP points, then we want to close all the trades. So the easiest way to close all trades is probably to copy this loop here and say if we are able to select a position, we use this trade object and we call the position close function for this ticket. In this we close all the positions. And there's one more thing that we have to do is if we closed all the positions, we will have to reset the highest lot size and the only the highest lot size pretty much, because in this case we can make sure that we do not open another position directly afterwards, I think. Yeah, maybe we should just reset everything here. Last direction, upper line, lower line. I don't know. I think we do not have to reset all of these, but just to be sure, we can reset all of these values. Okay, so what we should see now is that we can open positions. We will close these positions or these blocks of positions if we hit a specific TP. And then on the next day we should, oh no, this is not really working, I think. How many TP points do we define? Inputs, oh, 1000 TP points. Okay, this will take a while until we hit this level. So I hope that we see it. Oh yeah, I think we saw, did we just hit 1000 TP points here? No, this doesn't make sense. So why did we close the positions? Somehow we can make we can add a print statement there to see what happened. So we can say print hit TP points with total profit points like this. And yeah, let's start this program again. So let's check this out. I think somewhere here we will hit the TP. Yeah, it looks like the last position is so big, so it has a really big impact. And yeah, I think we hit it with 1050 TP points. So we should make a small profit here. But yeah, this is not really making a profit. I think we have a problem with slippage and things like this. Yeah, there we see a better profit now because we do not have these many positions. Yeah, I think if we see too many positions, then the first positions do not really impact anything at all. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Usually we should not see too many positions with a single setup, and maybe we can even change like the TP points to something that is reached easier, like 200. So then we should not see these big blocks of hedging positions, because then we see we reach the TP a lot faster. So yeah, if we speed it up, we can see we already have like 2 setups here, I think. or several setups. And you can see we now trade on every single day at 8 o'clock. We open a new setup. We check if we hit the TP or SL. And on the graph, you can see we make some small profits. They're not really big, of course, because we do not have we do not trade with a big lot size. But if we adjust or play around with the settings a little bit more, we can, for example, increase the initial lot size and maybe the TP a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, you can just play around with this program, and you will see that it may work really good in trendy markets, but if you see a long market or a long period without a clear trend, this is of course a problem, because then you see a lot of trades and you cannot really make profits, because you will just pay commission and you will have problem with slippage and everything like this. So there are ideal market conditions for these programs, but there are of course also really bad conditions where the program will struggle. But yeah, in the end, this tutorial was just a good way to show how to build a hedging expert advisor, and maybe I can show you the code one more time to make sure that you are able to copy everything correctly. And yeah, you can see this is like the big problem with hedging EAs. Even though you can make a big profit on the way, you will at some point always have the problem that your program may crash. But let's have a look at the program again. We have several input variables here. Then we have global variables that we need, because we do not want it to reset whenever the onTick function terminates. Of course, you should not forget to include this trade.mqh file, because otherwise you do not have access to this ctrade class. Then on the onTick function, we first of all receive the bid and the ask price. We store them in variables of the double type. And then we have a big loop, which is like really important, because in this loop we find the currently highest lot size, the last trading direction, and the total profit points. And all of these values are important for us later on, because we need the total profit points to check if we reached our TP points target. In this case, we close all the positions using another loop, and we reset all the variables, so we do not trade again on this day. Then we do this calculation to check what time we want to open a new setup, and then we check if, first of all, if we have to reset variables, or if we reached this point of time where we have to define the upper and lower line, and if we did so, we then have to check if we have to open positions. In this case, we always open positions if the bid price above the upper line and if the bid price below the lower line, and then we calculate the lot size using the currently highest lot size, if there is any, and multiply it with the input for the lots multiplier. And this is pretty much it. This is like a really easy and simple and short hedging strategy where you can trade a channel or a range between two prices. And of course, you can always play around with this concept. You can, for example, choose two input variables, to double input variables to define the price levels where you want to trade. You could even add the magic number to make this program safe to use, even if you trade other programs or if you do manual trading in the same account. You can just take this concept and add it into your existing expert advisors. So there's a lot you can do with this. This is just like a basic tutorial for this for a hedging strategy. And if you want to learn more about automated trading in MetaTrader 5, and if you want to learn like all the important basics and learn everything in a structured way, check out the link below this video. And So in the end, there's nothing more to say than thanks for watching, and we'll see each other in the next video. Until then, have a great time. Bye.